My grandfather, Irvin Irv Robbins, and great-uncle Bert Butch Baskin founded the Baskin-Robbins Ice Cream Company in 1945. Through clever marketing, 30 wonderful flavors, one for every day of the month, and a then-novel business model, franchising, they grew the company into a huge American success story. My dad, John Robbins, Grandpa Irv's only son, grew up swimming in an ice cream cone-shaped swimming pool, eating enormous amounts of ice cream, and inventing new flavors. Everyone, especially Grandpa Irv, expected him to follow in the footsteps of his wildly successful father and take over the family business once he became an adult. Imagine my grandpa's shock and disappointment when my dad, along with his bride, my mom-to-be, Deo, walked away from the business and the wealth it represented to live a simpler life in harmony with nature and all life forms. They moved to a tiny island off the coast of British Columbia, where they built a one-room log cabin, grew most of their own food, practiced yoga and meditation for several hours each day, and lived on less than $1,000 a year. That's where I was born. Whether I grew up extremely poor or immeasurably rich is a matter of perspective. From my grandparents' perspective, I was practically starving. No ice cream, no steak, no fast food, and no candy. My dad had renounced any access to or dependence on the family wealth, in addition to any leadership of Baskin-Robbins. From my parents' perspective, we were thriving. We grew much of our food and supplemented with the least expensive natural staples available. Every fall, we'd get a delivery of 25-pound sacks of dried legumes and grains, cases of potatoes and winter squash, a year's supply of herbs and spices, and some fresh fruits and vegetables. We'd go through the produce quickly before it spoiled and portion out the rest to last us until the following spring, when our garden would take up the slack. And we had Siberian kale growing in our garden all winter. We just brushed off the snow, and it was fabulous. My dad's family of origin enjoyed a diet that many people around the world aspire to. It included meals at fine restaurants and plenty of steaks, processed foods, rich desserts, and of course, lots and lots of ice cream. This diet was rich in calories, but lacking in nutrients. And over time, the huge quantities of sugar, saturated fat, salt, highly processed grains, and artificial ingredients began to wreak havoc on their health. My great-uncle Bert Baskin was the first to fall, dying of a heart attack at the age of 54. My dad's uncle was one of the most successful entrepreneurs in American history. He had a family he loved and work he enjoyed. But he didn't have his health, and he left my great-aunt Shirley a widow and his kids, my dad's cousins, fatherless. My folks and I, on the other hand, ate an entirely whole foods, plant-based diet. No refined sugar, no white flour, no preservatives or additives, and no meat or dairy. I grew up strong and healthy on this diet. In elementary school, I set pull-up and push-up records, and I completed my first marathon when I was 10. My parents likewise enjoyed rich health, as my mom became a dance workshop leader, and my dad went on to coach a track team and to become a triathlete. When it comes to food, most people think that they have to choose between good tasting and good for you. American wit and drama critic Alexander Woolcott spoke for many when he complained, "Everything I like is either illegal, immoral, or fattening." And my family's story could appear to reinforce that forced choice. Our relatives believed we had given up earthly pleasures in exchange for puritanical misery. Sure, we might live longer, but at the cost of renouncing everything that made life worth living. What was the point? What they didn't know was how delicious healthy food can taste when you give your taste buds a break from hyper-palatable processed foods and animal products. What they never experienced was the wonderful feeling of being nourished rather than punished by their diet. What they missed was the mental clarity and physical vigor that can accompany a simple lifestyle in tune with nature. And they also missed some really good recipes, which prove that when you know what to do with wholesome ingredients, you can make them taste amazing. The way we ate, and the way we still eat, is a win-win. Pleasure in the short term and well-being in the long term.